Joining me today is the #1 New York Times bestselling author of a book that I finished in record time because it was that good. Her fiction essays have been published in the New York Times, ESPN, Redbook, Glamour, and Ladies Home Journal. Laura Dave, welcome to the middle.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. First of all, congratulations. This book is so good. Congrats on all the success on The Last Thing He Told Me. Give me a little synopsis for those who haven't read it without giving anything away. And it's hard because there's a lot that you could give away.
Well, the last thing you told me focuses on a woman who is newly married and has relocated to Sausalito, California to live with her husband and his 16-year-old daughter. And the 16-year-old daughter is less than interested in having a relationship with her, but their lives are moving along. The family is blending when the husband's firm, his tech firm, is embroiled in a financial scandal. And the day that that comes out, he disappears, leaving in his wake just a note that says, "Protect her." And Hannah is left to figure out where he has gone and why, while trying to forge a relationship with this teenager.
And so I haven't talked about this in a minute because I'm almost at episode 50 at this point, but I call this series the middle because that's my favorite place to be in a book because
Oh.
I feel like when you're in the thick of it and just like the happy place. This one is great from like page one. So thank you for that. I feel like that is not an easy thing to accomplish, especially with a psychological book or thriller or whatever it is, just to get it going. It kind of takes a minute. So I think it's just amazing the way you write. So where did this idea come from?
I've always been really interested in true crime. And all the way back in 2003, I watched the Enron scandal sort of unfold. And I saw an interview with Linda Lay, the wife of the CEO of Enron, Kenneth Lay, in which she said, "My husband's done nothing wrong." And that struck me, putting aside whether I believed whether she was telling the truth or not, I don't know. I'm not Linda Lay. I started to imagine a woman who was newly married, who did believe that about her husband, who believed her that who the world was telling her her husband was in direct opposition to who she believed in her soul and her heart her partner was. And I started ruminating on that for a long time, but I really wanted her to be in this journey of figuring out the answers about her husband, right to trust herself. And also, I wanted her to be, as Gloria Steinem has this great quote, it's how important it is to watch women become the hero of their own lives, how important that is for other women. So I only wanted to tell the story when I could figure out how to make her a hero in the story, as opposed to on her heels, a victim of everything that was happening around her. So that's sort of where the idea came from. And I really appreciate you saying that that you didn't want to put it down from the beginning, because the way that I always try to write is that I start with the same question my narrator is starting with, which is, how can, in this case, how can we trust the people we love? Or can we trust the people we love? And I wanted, as crazy as it sounds, for that answer to be yes, that you can, even in circumstances where a lot of details change. So, but when I start writing with that question in mind, I really don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea beyond that initial that initial protect her note. I had no idea where we were going on this journey.
Wait, so you started writing this without like an intricate outline?
Nothing.
That's wild to me because I just assume, because there are so many intricate details that are necessary to make this book work, that I thought that the pre-planning would probably be such a process. So what was your process then if you just went in not sure? That's so cool.
So I start with that questioning and I dive in, and then usually that first draft of, and for this particularly, that first draft was just a lot of discovery. Like, where would this naturally take me? Where would this naturally take me? And then in the second draft, it's a mess. And I go back in and I start doing the research. And at that point, I talk to lawyers who are very familiar with the crimes that do take place in the book without any spoilers. And I went to Austin and I spent time in Sausalito, and I went to a house that's very important in the book. So then I get involved in the research after I sort of map out for myself in the discovery process where I think we're going. And actually for this book, I started working on it in 2012, so a long time ago. And where I thought we were going is ultimately not where the book goes. So I told you where the book started off ending, it's a very different place. But I had my son in 2016, and shortly thereafter I picked up the book again. I wrote 2 other books in the middle of this because the plotting was hard when you don't know. And I realized this was the primal story of someone becoming a parent. And when I realized that, the whole second half of the narrative really shifted, and draft 18 was born.
No, and I just love the heroine. Like she's so brave throughout all of it. And again, without giving too much away, but I agree. I think that this is like a testament to like, I can't even say, because I don't want everybody just read the book. It's so good. What can you tell me about the screen adaptation?
Well, it's a good day to ask me that, because my husband and I are just turning in the finale today. We recreated the show together, and we wrote all.
Well,
I'm sorry, what?
you're a writer as well.
He is. He's a screenwriter, actually. And
Combo.
yeah, he writes very different things than me normally. So he writes legal shows, political things. Like he wrote Spotlight and The Post. And this is the first time we're sort of the second time we're collaborating together, but the first time we're doing it on a television show. And so we're turning in the finale today. We have all 7 episodes done, and yeah, we're hoping to shoot early 2022.
That is so exciting. Can you say, I think I read Apple TV because it's with
Yep.
Sunshine, right? So it will definitely be Apple TV, right?
Yes, it's going to be on Apple TV, and Reese Witherspoon and her producing partner, Lauren Levy-Newstadter, who's amazing, are producing this through Hello Sunshine, through their company. They've just been, they've been amazing since that first time you get that phone call. It's sort of pinch me unreal. And then Julie Roberts is supposed to be playing Hannah, which is really crazy.
God. Like, okay, so how are you seem very calm. I feel like I would be jumping up and down like with all of this. This is so amazing.
It's really exciting. I mean, I think we've been in it with the work, and that always sort of grounds you in the getting the work done. But honestly, like when I say the words out loud, I can feel my cheeks like moving up to my eyes. It's just really, really exciting. And it's going to be so fun because the book is really Hannah's point of view, as I wanted it to be. But the TV show, you get to really dig deeper into some of these other characters, which is really fun to do. Spend more time with them.
And do you plan to shoot on the West Coast?
Austin, Sausalito, Los Angeles.
Oh my God. Oh, I can't wait. That's so exciting. And it's also kind of serendipitous because don't you have a book called Hello Sunshine?
I do, which is so confusing, which actually that book came out in 2000 and I think 17, shortly, it was either shortly before or shortly after Hello Sunshine was formed, but I'd already had the title. And I remember it was so confusing because Reese has started her book club. And so everyone was like, oh my God, congratulations. And I'm like, no, it's totally separate, which was so confusing.
But you like kind of manifested it in a way, which is very
good. I like that. I hope so.
Yeah. So, I mean, you talked about it a little bit, but like with it becoming a Reese book club pick, when exactly was that, and how has life changed for you? And like mentally as a writer, have you written any new work since then? And if so, like, has that kind of changed your process?
That's a great question. I think, I found out about last fall, so a while ago, and we were in the middle of COVID. So I have not been writing as much as I should be. Well, now the show, so we did manage to get that done. But I'm writing two new books now. One is a sequel, actually, to this.
Good. So for the adaptation too. I love that.
Exactly. But then, it's so funny because the way I write, because it is that sense of you don't know what's going to happen, sometimes something just sort of hits me and it takes me in a totally different direction. So the sequel is actually not going to be the next book because we just took a trip, and it was our first sort of trip during all this. And by trip, I mean, it was 2 hours away. We were up in, but so pretty close, but a whole sort of book kind of appeared to me. And so I just this week started working on that, which I'm really excited about. And it's another sort of domestic suspense book that takes place on the California coast.
Oh, I can't wait. And what was it like writing with your husband on the adaptation? Sorry, I'm so excited about the adaptation now because I literally just finished this. So I'm like, I love when I know that there's more coming and I can see it in life. But I mean, I'm thinking of if I were working with my husband right now, and I don't know what that would. It could go one of two ways.
Everyone was before we decided to do that. When we started deciding to do that, everyone's like, so let me get this straight. In the middle of a pandemic with no childcare, you guys are going to be writing together. We're like, yeah, but we're so collaborative anyway, in terms of we're each other's first reader and we're each other's biggest fan. And like, it really has gone smooth. I mean, I'm like knocking on all sorts of things right now, but it has gone smoothly. I think we had a really good process, and we had a team of writers come on, and they were amazing. So it's gone well. I mean, I'm saying that today, it's like almost like pregnancy or having a kid. You forget the other stuff. And we're turning in the finale day. I'm like, it's great. It's all great.
Yeah. And then when you get all the awards, you'll be like, it was just a dream.
I'm actively blocking out the 5 a.m. getting up in the middle of the night to write together sessions. But but it's been really fun. And I started working on this book, as I said, in 2012. He's been in this with me. We got married in 2011, and the other thing that really inspired the book was Hannah's career. Hannah's a wood turner, which is, for our wedding, we received wood turn bowl, and I didn't know anything about wood turning before that, and I was fascinated by what goes into being a wood turner, the dedication, the attention to detail, the physical strength, all of those things. And I thought I wanted to infuse all of that into Hannah. So it's almost, in some ways, there's an aspect of this book that is sort of a testament to marriage and family, and this, as I said, something can just sort of turn everything for me, no pun intended. And in this case, it was that bowl. And so, these characters are really, something for him too. But it is funny because we just drove up to Sausalito to do sort of a unofficial scouting trip. And we took my son, and I'm like, well, this was Hannah's house, because I do all those trips. I go all the places in the book, and my poor 5-year-old was so confused. He was like, wait, is Hannah real? I thought you said she's in the book, but this is where she lives. It's all. But I love imagining and getting to reimagine and spending more time with these people.
Oh, and I bet your son's gonna have such an imagination. You guys as parents, that's awesome. This is so great. So I like the fact that you're so involved in the adaptation too, because a lot of times when I speak with authors who are having their work adapted, they just completely relinquish control. So did you have that option, or did you always know, if this is being adapted, I want to be writing?
I think I always wanted to write this one, and I feel really strongly about these characters, and I wanted to do it. And I thought, with the plotting and everything and how my husband writes, that it would be a really good thing for us to do together. So from the sort of very beginning, when we were looking for a producing partner and figuring out how to, bring that out into the world, we really knew we wanted to do this one together. I think because now I'm so in it and thinking about this new book and thinking about this other thing, I wouldn't necessarily take on another, screenwriting project at the moment. I'm a novelist. That's what I love doing. But this has been really fun.
Okay, so what is your Instagram? So everyone who isn't can follow you. I'll put it up on the screen.
It is Laura Dave Author.
Okay, perfect. And then when you become best friends with Julia
Wait,
Roberts,
is it Laura Dave author?
I'll check. I'll figure it
I
out.
should,
Don't worry.
I should know that. I'm late to the social media thing and I'm
Okay.
just getting into it. I just sent everyone somewhere else.
No, you're fine. And then, yeah, when you're best friends with Julia Roberts, if
Yeah.
she does in fact come onto the project or whoever ends up being Hannah, my goal eventually is to do set tours with authors once
Yes.
on the sets of their adaptations, once like the world is opened up again. So
Yeah.
maybe we could all get together and, maybe stroll through Austin,
Done.
wherever we're filming at the moment.
I would love that.
Okay,
I would absolutely love that.
awesome. Well, thank you so much. And congrats again, everybody. The last thing he told me, read it. You'll take 5 minutes and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm a really fast reader because it's that good. Of
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
course.